Hello. Don't refresh. It was wearing blue screen last night.
Hey, can you guys see us?
I see 3,000 kilobytes per second up.
Greatest League Talkshow
Are we good?
has returned.
Everybody refresh. Everyone in chat, spam refresh. We did not blue screen. We just lost the stream.
Yeah,
like,
we
didn't really think about the fact that we're changing adapter settings.
Yeah, in the middle of the stream, which OBS has not. I don't think anything.
I don't think anything can be like, oh yeah, I was playing PUBG and I destroyed my Wi-Fi and
yeah,
it's gonna change the ports and mumbo jumbo.
All right, cool. We're back.
We're good.
All right, so are we good to start?
I think so. I'm good.
Thank you, production expert with a magic touch,
Ooh.
and I'm ready to go to Friday's one-sided games.
Oh boy, Friday was weird. Well, the first series was not weird.
I was gonna say the first series weird. That's not the word I would have used.
This is
Disgusting,
shellacking.
one-sided, just bunch of different things.
All right, so this was a 2-0 for Envy. I mean, for Immortals over Envy, and most of these games were over like within the first 5 minutes.
Yes, these were super one-sided games. I think they had the fastest series time of any series in the entire split.
It was 52 minutes combined of game time, which means like 26 minutes each.
Yeah, this was the fastest series ever.
Oh yeah, also Seraph went full LEP mode. He was like 0 and 15 or something, or like 1 and...
What do you know? Seraph's overall stats this week?
I know.
3 and 25. So it's like the reverse Jensen, except for he's not even doing it that well. You know, Jensen has like 60.
He should have had 60 deaths.
Yeah, then he would have been like
in 6 games.
So Seraph did not have a good week. Let's just throw that out there right now. Just he had a really bad week. Probably his worst week of competitive play this entire split.
Yeah, and he wasn't great to begin with, so that's a problem.
Yeah, there's definitely a problem. So
what goes wrong in game 1 in particular? Because to be fair, this first game, not super his fault right away. Level 1, level 2, basically Smithy goes for a topside clear and invades on Lyra's top jungle. So he has red buff because he was on the red side. He gets red buff and goes for an invade. Lyra gets the super leash. When he's on Wolves, he realizes Smithy is in his jungle, and rather than fighting for the blue as Zach, who's probably a little bit weaker, especially when he doesn't have red, he decides to go to the other side and grab the blue buff.
yep. So already Lyra's a little bit ahead of him because he messed up, right?
What? No.
Wait.
Smithy contested his blue. Lyra ditched his blue to go to Smithy's blue.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I'm
Yeah,
thinking of something else.
I'll keep going. You jump in when you remember. So then Lyra gives up his blue to go steal the other blue and go for a trade. Smithy calls that this is happening. After he finishes the blue, he starts collapsing on bot side. Ole and Cody-san go to contest the blue buff steal, and it initially goes well for Envy, where they kill Ole, but it leaves them so far in the enemy team's jungle that Immortals is able to collapse on them. And then they slaughter them.
It's a 4-for-1 for Immortals' favor, and if you ever give a 4-for-1 to a top team, like that's your first 10 minutes are gone. You don't have control.
Yeah, Seraph teleported in super late. It was like Cody-san had this really nasty play on Apollo with the blast.
Oh, that
cone.
was so good. When they're running out, Cody's just waiting there, and he just runs around, and it hits Apollo out of the team fight.
Yeah, so like Apollo's going to take the blast cone into the team fight, and as he's pathing over there, Cody-san takes the blast cone while knocking Apollo out.
It was like super smart play. Like usually AD carries
Don't have a brain?
Yeah, are not known for intelligence. That intelligent maneuver by Cody-san.
So yeah, after that, it's a 4-for-1, like you said. The game's, against a bad team, that's maybe not the end of the world. We've seen Team Liquid lose with leads like this, but for Immortals, it's just like...
Yeah, so I was even talking to someone about the game, and they're just like, so they lost off this one bad mistake. And I'm like, this is an awful mistake.
This is like 4 mini mistakes put together.
Yeah. On top of that, like maybe they would have been okay, but what ended up happening was Immortals just played the rotation game super well. So they Apollo died 2v2, and then they took bot lane tower after when the jungle came over.
They dove it.
They re-rotated top side, which, by the way, Seraph dying here was really dumb.
Oh yeah, it was.
So these are like, okay, they made the big mistake in the river. The next mistake was this, where Seraph stays top lane. After the bot lane Tristana breaks tower, where is the Triss going to go? The AD will go mid or top. So,
and especially with Tristana, most likely top.
Yes. So what ends up happening, Seraph plays up, dies in the situation where he shouldn't have died. What they do in this situation, you just trade towers if you're behind. You take the bot tower, Seraph didn't like rotates mid or something stupid, just leaves the tower. And he dies there. They give up top tower, and then Immortals then proceeds to go mid and slam mid. Diving mid. And so they made 3 plays in a row where it's like they just cemented their lead and the game was over.
And we've talked for about like 10 minutes on something that happened within 10 minutes of game time.
Yeah.
So this was obviously a huge snowball, and there's really not much more to say.
I literally wrote disgusting game.
Yeah, I wrote the invade, they kill Ole, but 4 for 1. Then I say IMT dive, bot more, snowball.
Yeah, which was so if anything, this shows Immortals' good strength as a top team of being able to take their lead, rotate, and get like snowball their lead.
And you talk about Envy and Seraph kind of having a shit week. On the flip side, Immortals had a fantastic week. Their competition was not top half of the league competition, but this is exactly what you want to see out of a top team, is not that they struggle with this competition, that they obliterate them. Mm-hmm. And game 2, it's once again, this one I find a lot more on Seraph. We're like, all right, you know the other team is on blue side. You know Super Leash is a possibility. Seraph is playing kind of aggro in lane, doesn't ward, doesn't do anything, and then, you know, I think it was Maokai.
Yeah, it was Maokai.
Maokai just shows up there, you know, with a Super Leash, especially when he has his saplings, absolutely ridiculous clear speed, ends up killing him at, you know, 3 minutes into the game. And they didn't even play it that well. They had to blow 2 flashes to get this kill, but they still got him.
Yeah, so my problem is, it's like, this is a reoccurring problem with this team, because have you seen their stats? Actually, their win rate on blue and red?
No.
Their win rate on red side is one of the most polarizing of any team in the split. I saw it because in the Reddit thread that bot like puts out all the win rates. I think it's 5 and 20. It's like 5 and like 18. They literally do not win on red side. And I think personally a lot of it is because the red side top lane is incredibly easy to gank.
Yeah.
If you're on the red side as top, you hate your life. And Seraph is probably the person that's the most inconsistent player on their team, and so he gets taken advantage of, especially when they're on red side.
And Envy tries to like counter this snowball from happening. Like they have a 3-man roam to the top side later to get a counter kill. They try and put up a little bit of a fight, but then like Immortals goes up there again and gets another kill. So there's been like a lot of fighting around top side, and then Immortals just super outplays Envy in a bot fight.
The play that Flame does there, one is bad by Seraph.
Like, yeah, it's like it shouldn't really happen.
Yeah, straight up, but like when that stuff does happen, the stars aligned and made Flame look like a monster. Like the best Jarvan play I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's like Seraph is hitting Meganar. He goes for a flash ult right as like fucking Flame jumps out of it with his ultimate onto a different target, and then EQs back through to get a second knockup. It looks genius, and then you realize it's all just because Seraph like flashed in a bad spot.
Yes, so it was pretty bad by Seraph, but also good by Flame to be able to take the opportunity, and after that series of plays, essentially Immortals just snowballs.
Yeah, it was like kind of close until this bot play, and then like they absolutely destroy the bot lane turret. Then they start roaming mid, do the same kind of shit.
And while this is happening, Seraph is just dying. Like he's either dying at the very top of fights, getting picked off like at like the side lanes. He has 7 deaths in 23 minutes. Like this guy is like
mental boom.
Yeah, he is not having a great game.
And eventually, it's just like Immortals uses their tools very well. They Talia wall things off. They use Maokai ults when people are walled off by Talia. I thought that was really creative, where like they would Talia wall a lane so you can't run up the lane, and then they would Maokai up the lane with the ult. So it's like, wait, we can't run anywhere, and we're just gonna get pinned by this.
I think they're one of the teams that does sieging very well.
Yes.
Like when they just walk up 5 to get in the lane, they're not afraid to do the instant initiation.
Yeah.
Or play out the siege patiently. I think that's one of their greatest strengths.
I think just in general, their team coordination is fantastic. So Immortals smashed this series 2-0 off these plays. That's really all there is to say.
Immortals, good team. Envy, Seraph didn't have a great week.
Mediocre team that's inconsistent.
Yep. Moving on to the next series, 3-game series, Dig versus CLG. CLG win this series 2-1 in one of the closer games, I guess.
It felt weird to me because the game that Dignitas won was just like 100% off this ridiculous snowball bot lane. And like, we talk about the play that Immortals had, like maybe that doesn't end the game. This play more often than not ends the game because it's like, oh, the hyper-scaling champion's hitting a 2-item power spike not before 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you can't contest that damage.
Okay, but before we get to that, we'll get to the first game where essentially I thought this is a Darshan show. Oh, speaking of which, if you're not looking at Darshan right now, this guy, he's playing very well.
I don't think CLG has a legitimate MVP candidate, as in like someone who legitimately might win it.
I would put Darshan in my top 5.
But that's what I was gonna say. Is of anyone on CLG, I think you give it to Darshan.
He'd be sneaking in like the 5th position for me.
Yeah, so pretty low. Like not really a chance to win.
Definitely not. But he is actually playing out of his mind. He has had one really bad series, the one that we talked about. I think it was last week or the week before.
Yeah, he missed an EQ combo. Like fuck me, all right, that happens.
Yeah, but for the most part, Darshan's actually like hard carrying this team.
So what happened this game was basically Dignitas put together a pretty strong 4-man comp, a 4-man core, and then they picked Nasus with it as well, which is he got some buffs this patch with his Spirit Fire. Instead of removing flat, removes percent armor magic resist. So it makes it a situation where in the late game, Nasus is already super strong in a 1v1, but against tanks, he just destroys them.
And on top of that, his Q cooldown gets halved in ulti, so he becomes like split push 1v1 king. Yeah. So he's essentially doing what he used to do better.
Yeah, it's the same shit he was really good at, just even better now.
Yeah, but Darshan plays this really well. Like, he gets ganked from his team. He ends up snowballing the lane, and instead of building defensively, he rushes Titanic to be able to deal with like the split push pressure from Nasus, so that Nasus really never got going too hard. Darshan ended up roaming to pick up a double kill mid lane at 11:30.
Yeah, every play is kind of keyed off Darshan. The play in the bot lane was off his ultimate, where like Afro went over the wall.
Yeah, they got I think a 3-for-1 in the bot lane by doing that play. So like he's actually 100% kill participation. I think the casters even said this 20 minutes in the game.
Yeah, he's 100% kill participation in like a not great matchup. And a couple other things worth noting was like. All this is like really important that he built damage because it allows him to win the 1v1 longer. If he built defensive, like he's better at holding under a turret maybe.
But someday would just
smash
the turret.
But instead, because he has the ability to actually duel someday, he can't walk up to the turret. So it holds someday down a little bit longer than otherwise.
So I think smart organization, good play by top lane, and then Kuhi hit monster ultis this game. Like back to back to back.
But this is one of those times where like his monster ultis are usually keyed off somebody else. So it was usually like a good taunt or a good, I think Alistar. No, he was on Morgana, right? So it was like a binding or something. It was usually like set up super well by Darshan.
Yeah, I like that thing that you said really, really early in the split where you were talking about how like CLG is the team that plays the best with Orianna, but who's not the best Ori player.
Right. The perfect example is C9's games today as well, where like Jensen is hitting 3-man shockwaves, flashing forward while the rest of his team is running away.
Yeah, he's single-handedly hitting the shockwaves, no help from his team, and he's putting up this monster damage KDA alone. Whereas like if you watch CLG's games, like Hui's hitting good shockwaves because he's working with his team.
Right, and that's not saying that Jensen's style is better necessarily. Like, I would probably prefer to be on the CLG side where it's like, we're just playing better as a team.
Yes, but I mean, they're very, very far out extremes, I would say, with Jensen putting a record-breaking performance.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, so what happens, though, is despite how well CLG's doing and playing with Shen and all this stuff, they haven't quite put the game into a position where, like, they're gonna win hands down. Like, it's like a 4 or 5K gold lead after all these plays. Someday is a great player, has been farming well. And it's starting to get like a little scary around the 25-minute mark where like Someday is starting to duel Shen and almost killing him and like starting to force turrets down. It's getting a little scary.
And then Hui hits a 3-man shockwave with the help of his team. They kill everyone, or they get like a 3-for...
It's a 4-for-0 around Baron.
And Baron, and then the game's over within couple minutes later, because at this point, once Baron is down, Nasus can't teamfight. In any way, shape, or form, he's never been good at teamfighting, and Nasus has never had an exceptional late game. He's a very strong mid-game like monster, and he's really good at split pushing, but in a teamfight setting, Nasus is actually horrifically bad.
Yeah, he's like, in a late game, in a lane by himself, 1v1 is like terrifying, and in a teamfight, it's like, oh god, Braum shits on me, or like Morgana shits on me.
He gets CC twice, and he's dead, because he can't do anything. So... Once they got Baron, Someday essentially couldn't win the game anymore, and the game was over.
Yep, I like the look at it, Dig, that they went for like this split push win condition.
Yeah, I don't think it was a bad idea. I think in a different situation it would have worked.
Yeah, I just think CLG made all the necessary plays to beat this comp.
Because even with the lead CLG had, Nasus had like potential to like
if the 4-man does not get picked at Baron, they're fine. But CLG just found a good look, so kind of a tip of the cap to CLG outplaying Dig's comp and winning.
And then we go to game 2, where, like you said, CLG's bot lane gets handled, like, really badly. Like, Aframu just bent over and took it this game.
One, he's on Karma, which I just don't like this champion. Anytime I see Karma, it doesn't do anything.
If you're looking for a shield champion, I would prefer Janna.
I prefer Janna or Lulu.
But yeah, exactly. But especially they pick Thresh. Okay, what does your team need here? I was just looking at this. I'm just like, I'm surprised they didn't pick Kench. Something to protect the Kog'Maw. Like, it's not like anything they pick would have been able to win lane, I think.
Yeah.
But, like, you just want something to help them get through the lane and where maybe help them get dove. And I can understand them winning a shield champion because Center is super OP.
Yep.
And so maybe Kench lost a lot of value recently. But, like, every shield champion has a bad matchup into Thresh.
Yeah.
So, and especially Karma. I don't know what to say. I think Adrian and Altex had the number. They got smashed bot lane, literally to the point where they lost the game solo.
Yeah, and to be fair to like the Karma pick, it's not like, oh, you pick Karma, so this is gonna happen to you every game. Like Dignitas just forced super hard. They like level 2 cheese bottom where like Jarvan started topside, cleared 2 camps, and then just ran bottom or something. And they killed him once. He's 30 CS down from this pathing. Like Shrimp is effectively useless, but it doesn't matter because every play he tried around bottom worked.
And if you recall, like way back in older versions of League, Jarvan Thresh is one of the most dominant ganking bot lane possibility.
It's just a disgusting level 2.
Yeah, you'll literally never win against that duo. Like you need to run like something stupid like Morgana or Kench and play really far back to even have a chance of living in this situation.
Yeah, so it ends up in a situation where I think 8 or 10 minutes into the game, Alltech on Trist is 4-0.
Yeah,
and they take bot turret.
He's 4-0, and then Hui comes to try to clear the bot lane turret, and then he just gets solo killed by Trist. So he has all 5 kills of Dignitas, and it's 5-4. So it's not like CLG's doing like that bad. They're making plays on the other side of the map, but bot lane just lost so hard. They're like 40 CS behind. Altek hits his 2-item spike at 18 minutes, which is nuts.
Yeah, it's like, okay, that's great that your Camille is like 2-1 or like whatever she is, 2-0, 2-0-1, but you can't have a Camille just go dive a backline 20 minutes in the game with an item and a half when the carry you're trying to dive has 2 items and peel.
Yeah, Camille can't even get to her 1 defensive item before Tristana 4 hits her. So at some this game kind of stalls out a little bit, but I wouldn't even say that much. 28 minutes in, it's a 4-for-1 once they take a team fight mid lane, and the game's over because Alltech has 3.5 items at the time where 6A has 2 or something.
Yeah, it's gross. Either way, Alltech hard smashes this game, and I liked what I saw out of him because he was aggressive during this time.
Yeah, and I think Adrian really set him up well. I know we don't give him many props, but like the bot lane in general just set up this game for success.
Yeah, and it was mostly keyed off of Adrian and Shrimp's place to get Alltech the lead, but then once he had it, he ran with it.
Okay, cool. Third game,
a little bit slower. There was like some turret trading based off like a bad matchup for, was it CLG who swapped out?
CLG swapped out the top lane, I'm pretty sure.
And then that's when there was this weird skirmish.
It was a 5v5 fight top lane where it was like very, very, very close.
Back and forth.
And Hui comes out with 2 kills at the very tail end with Stixay and Hui outplaying very well.
Yeah, it looks like, Dig tried to jump on them. It looks like CLG kites it out, so then CLG tries to turn it, and then it gets turned back on them, and they fuck it up, and then as they're cutting it out the last time, Hui fade away threaded volley.
And when you're thinking of like the best champions after Mu plays, Alistar is like up there as like his #1 champion. Alistar, Morgana, number 1 and 2. And so this is the guy where him and Omar got the first kill mid lane by roaming together mid. Yep. They swap top, they kill top lane. The team fight's coming out, and sure, he gets picked in like a bad situation here and there, but like his usefulness on Alistar, incredibly high.
Yeah, he's like, you just give him chances to win the game when he's on that champion. You just can't get on something like Karma. And it's like, that's what I was saying. It's like, yeah, Karma's not necessarily bad, but you're taking like a guy who can win you the game at any given point and putting him on something where he can never do that. Like Karma can never win you the game.
I would prefer if you're going to do something like more defensive to have a Soraka or Janna. Because I think that those bring like very, very strong, like either peel or like healing utility where other champions just can't deal with it sometimes. Yeah. We should talk a little bit about Omar God. He is doing worse than I expected in terms of like working with the team. I think overall his play this series, he had 1 game where 2 games where he was okay.
The first game was okay.
And then the third game was really bad. I just think that he hasn't really meshed in with the team. COG has what they hoped for was going to be 2 weeks to work with Omar. Them losing this bye is actually really bad for them. Because they can no longer get it, right?
Well, so there's still next week, which is the promo tourney. So they have 1 week to practice with him?
Yeah, but they wanted 2 weeks because they really need to be able to sit down and iron this guy out. This guy's not looking great in CLG's like structure right now.
It feels like he's trying to do the right thing. Like game 2 is the perfect example where he's on Maokai and him and Darshan combo together to kill Shrimp at the Wraith timing as it comes up because, Shrimp's super far behind, so he's going to try and catch up off Wraith. And they punish him correctly, but then it feels like it falls apart and he can't keep finding things. He doesn't cover his bot lane well, and he's just not 100% of the time in the right position. And when he is, doesn't always execute.
Yeah, so I just think he's a relatively lower impact player. And not saying that Dardoch was doing great. I actually think Dardoch was playing really bad with CLG as well. But I would say Omar's also not playing too well.
The one thing you could say, though, is that with Omar, ideally, your other 4 members play better because they don't have to deal with Dardoch, obviously.
Yes.
So even though if Dardoch might be better than Omar, if the other 4 players average a bigger upgrade, it's worth it.
I think that's fine. Going to first round, going to top 4, you're gonna need Omar to be playing well to be able to win.
And I think the match tomorrow against TSM is a great opportunity to be how good? Because Bjergsen and Sven will fuck you.
Yeah. That tomorrow's match will actually be really, really good. But let's move on from this. So third game.
Did you tweet, by the way?
Yes, I did.
I forgot to tweet. I'm sorry. I usually don't come back.
Don't worry. I forgot until someone reminded me. We're 15 minutes into the pre-show and someone's like, "Hey, you forgot to tweet." And I was like, "Oh."
Yeah. Let me,
bye, Josh.
Bye, Josh. Let me throw a little tweet out when we're switching days.
Someone
asked something about damage ranking. Did you guys talk about that?
I didn't even look at it. I didn't even look at the announcement.
You didn't even read it?
Well, look for me, what's the point of damage rankings? I don't even understand.
You didn't read it.
Yeah.
Because everyone's DPM's such a bad stat. It scales with game time and champions, and it's totally arbitrary.
Yes. I just think the best thing they should look at is damage done per team fight, which they already do in LCS, which I think is a good thing to look at. Aside from that, overall damage done in the game, probably useless. Or not useful just as a singular stat.
Well, so damage rating is supposed to get rid of some of those problems.
I will look at it later.
Yeah.
I will look at it later for sure. Oh, wait, but we didn't finish off this game, right?
No, we're done with the series. I already moved the arrow.
Oh.
Yeah, you remember you said they go mid, right?
Oh, we didn't actually finish it. But
Did we not? Whoops.
No, we actually didn't finish
I already
the
moved
series.
this arrow.
So
we're on NBC 9.
What ends up happening is that Omar misses a godforsaken huge amount of ultis, but King gets picked quite a bit. Potentially should have rushed Banshee second against Gragas and Alistar because you can't afford to get picked.
Comboed easily.
Yeah, you can't afford to get picked easily against those two. If you're alive, I think your team comp has a good chance of winning. Alternatively, big team fight comes out where Afro baits the Taric ulti, super well played, and then they turn it back in with, I think, Gragas, Gnar, both flashing in, getting a wombo there, 3-0, get Baron, game's over.
Yep. It was another one of those kind of CLG vision controlling around Baron, team fight mid kind of things.
Afro Moose starts the fight off really well, makes it really easy for the team to follow up.
Great.
Sorry about that, guys. We almost just skipped the third game.
Yeah,
Anyways,
that's my bad because I was I got a tweet. Oh, I'm gonna move the thing. And
is your takeaway from this series what you expected, kind of, which was
Yeah, I mean, it's CLG's still a really good team. I thought their loss. That's why I thought their loss last week to P1 was it's a fluke. Can we just fucking call it a fluke and not try and get any big takeaways from it? That's one of the things I hate most about league analysis is that people think every loss or every win actually means something. Whereas sometimes you just fucking play bad. And when you look at that game was legitimately Darshan didn't press E in a critical early game fight. I don't think anything about CLG because of that.
Yeah. I think this is a good example of, generally before we even thought CLG was a better team than Dig, and this doesn't even definitively say that they're better, but I would say at least CLG seems to match up pretty well.
Yeah, I would say, if they go into playoffs and you this is a series that actually decently represents how good the two teams are, and it feels like CLG just work better as a team if things are even in the early game.
Regardless, everyone pretty much wants to play Envy, but
yeah, the playoffs are locked already.
Are they?
Not everything aside the 1 and the 2.
Who plays?
CLG gets Envy for sure. And Dig versus C9.
That'll be a good one.
Yeah, we'll cover this all tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Let's move on to the Envy versus C9. game.
This was a
holy shit game. This is another 2-0. Envy, like you mentioned kind of earlier, has been getting slaughtered this week, and both of these games are just like Jensen's absolutely disgusting. Game 2, not quite as much, kind of keyed off some other things a little bit more, but game 1 in particular is just like, this dude's too good.
And the thing is, like, the way this started wasn't even bad. Like, Contracts got delayed at his opener by the mid and top.
Yep.
Tries to do like a kind of somewhat early invade from his red to enemy blue. Gets seen by Lyra. Lyra gets like a camp and a half ahead of the other player as Jarvan, which is super good. And so they're in a great spot. And then what ends up happening? All right, Smoothie just kills Apollo.
Yeah, and this was a game that, like, it's so weird that, like, you know, Jensen's who we talk about, because in the early game, it was all Smoothie. He gets, like, a nasty headbutt Paul combo on Hakuo the first time for first blood, just 2v2 kill. And then they're getting in a vision control battle, and Hakuo is too slow on the Black Shield, so he gets a combo onto Sivir, and they get another, like, 2 kills, and it's 3-0 from the bot lane.
This reminds me of the CLG game we just talked about, the second one, where it's like, oh, they just single-handedly lost the game. But, of course, Envy actually makes, like, good plays off of this. Make a top lane play with the mid jungle at 10:30. Get 2 for 1 while C9 counter pushes mid lane.
They do lose, a couple turrets.
Yes, and then what ends up happening is that Jensen just slowly starts, like, crushing.
He just starts murdering this game.
He solo kills him.
Solo kills him again.
Before a team fight, solo kills him again. And then it's just like,
16-minute ace off Jensen triple kill.
3-man shockwave. And he's actually playing so well. So he may take a little bit to, like, turn it up. Jensen, for, like, in a 1v1 situation against top-tier mid laners, actually doesn't get too much of a lead by himself. But if you give him an inch, he'll take a mile with it.
And the crazy thing is, so the damage rating thing, just to tangent off this for a little bit, it takes into account, like, winning and losing and what champion you're playing. So that way it avoids some of those biases. But it also takes into account how often you're around your team. And it actually punishes you for being grouped up more often, because it's saying it's, like, easier to hit people when there's people nearby.
Oh, interesting.
It's a little bit of a weird thing to include. And one of the things that happened was Jensen ended up the 4th in damage rating, I think, of NA mids.
Above him?
Yes, because, and so people were like, see, look, even though, you know, he is so great, it's just biased, right? And if you look at the damage rating, which is a better stat than DPM, he's actually not that great. And it's like, motherfucker, someone's always around Jensen. The team plays through him, like, 100% of the time. Like, his solo kills, it's technically anyone within 2,000 range. If you look at his solo kills, like, Contracts is clearing a ward next to him as Jensen just murders somebody. And it's like, I guess that's technically, you know, in some ways assisted.
I was going to be like, I can see maybe, like, one person being ahead of him. Maybe 2. He's got 3 people ahead of him in the damage rate. Man, they need to rethink the system. Are you serious?
I mean, it's like, it's whatever. You know, each stat has its biases. So, like, I don't even think damage rating is worse than DPM or something like that. But, like, people keep, like, in the thread of the comments, when they saw he was 4th, people were like, see, Jensen's just, like, KDA player. And I'm like, oh my god, dude. Like, look at his team fights. Like, this dude's not playing scared.
Yeah, this guy, Jensen's playing, like, as one of the biggest Jensen critics from last split.
Yeah, if you watch our analysis previously, we both were just like, this dude doesn't leave lane. It's a fucking problem.
And if you notice, in his last 3 series, where he has combined 63 kills, he has roamed, I think, 3 out of 6 games. 2 or 3 out of 6 games, single-handedly carrying his team in both the games that he roamed.
And a great example of this is, like, look at the fight that happened mid lane, not after the ace. There's one around mid lane where, like, they kill 1 or 2 people, and then fucking Impact on Galio, Justice punches out. He's like, you know what, we're done with this team fight. And Jensen's like, fuck that shit. He flashes forward, gets a 2-man ult, and gets 2 more kills by himself. Like, how is it, like, no, he's not scared. He just doesn't fuck up.
Yeah, he's playing, he's having, like, the best season he's ever played.
Yeah, right, I think he's the MVP for me, most likely. Like, just, like, he's so crazy.
He is incredibly good at this game. Okay, before we just start, like, just
sucking his dick too hard. Anyways, that's the end of the game 1.
He's not wrong. At 15 minutes, once they get the 5 for 1 and Baron, this game's over.
Yeah, 5 for 1 in Rift Herald, it's 15 minutes.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Oh,
they get another 4 for 1 after off the Jensen.
My bad. I actually thought that was Baron, but it's like, wait, it's not even 20 minutes yet.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, then the next game where Seraph gets solo killed.
He gets destroyed by Impact. You know what's funny is that when Impact started that top die meme, it started from beating the shit out of Seraph.
Oh god.
It started in Gauntlet last split or last summer. Remember?
If this is like the key to unlock like playoffs, Impact Gnar,
he has to abuse Seraph one game to unlock his true potential.
I'm just saying, C9 has a good shot at running it. But like, yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen. But anyways, what happens at 4 minutes is Seraph gets solo killed in like a way where you're just like, that shouldn't have happened. I don't know how else to put it. It was like,
it just shouldn't happen. Yeah.
It was like a situation where it's like, I think he could have even gotten out of it if he had just flashed earlier. But he just saved.
If he flashed E'd so that way he couldn't block the E.
Yeah, it was just. He played really bad, and
he played really bad.
He's been playing bad like the whole week.
Yeah.
So 13 minutes again, he gets solo killed by Impact. He's down 2 levels.
At the same time, though, Envy gets a 2-0 as C9 kind of forced the dragon.
Yes, and they're still okay. Like the gold is directly even with Sarah feeding out of his mind because Apollo actually. And Hakuo do well.
They're doing super well.
They're doing like 15, 20 CS up. They're doing really, really good. To the point where the bot side is kind of out-influencing their top side.
And for the most part, this time,
Niski?
Niski is not getting smashed.
Yeah, he's actually doing pretty well. It's about even CS and pretty much even control as well.
Yep. And so what finally breaks this game open is 20 minutes in, there's a dragon team fight where Seraph gets a really, really nice engage off. Gnar ults 2 key members back to his team. Jensen hits the follow-up stun. I think he gets a double kill off of it, and it ends the fight with Jensen at 3-1-1 or something, and Impact at 3-1-1. So both of them are starting to go off super hard.
Yeah, Envy loses team fight 0 for 3, and a situation where like it definitely should have been more even, but I just team fought way better.
Yeah, it was just a great turn off the dragon.
And honestly, I really like this Zac Terra combination. I think it's really unique and something that like has a lot of good. I want to say like good team fighting, you know?
Yeah, there's a lot of tricky things you can do with that range of engage because you can put the thing on Tarek who can go for, or on Zac who can go for like a knock-up, and then you can get the E stun off of it
into the ulti.
Yeah, there's like a couple tricky things, but it is kind of up to the enemy team to say they don't prioritize Zac. And Zac priority is a little in flux right now. We still see him banned on red side. We also see him go through a couple times. This time he goes through, and to be fair, contracts didn't feel like a huge factor for a large part of this game. And
up until the
last fight.
Yes.
But even before that last fight, after this fight goes super well for C9, they do mess up a Baron really, really bad.
They're playing the red side, and Envy just team fights super well. They get a 3-0.
Yeah.
And then what ends up happening?
So like after that lead, they go for a topside invade. Envy kind of defends it, and then they go for this Baron bait, and they fuck it up. It goes a 3-0 for Envy, and they get Baron. But Envy is a team that uses Baron very, very poorly. I think they get 1 turret with it. And they weren't like ahead, and you're against, a Syndra Zac. Maybe you're scared of the initiation, but they needed to play more aggressively to actually try and grab a gold lead with disadvantage. But they just kind of sat on it and didn't do much. So the gold, instead of like going in their favor, ends up more neutralized.
I will say though, when you're playing against Zac Syndra, it's kind of hard to siege sometimes.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, especially Zac Syndra Tarek. And if you see the situation, like even in the red side fight where they end up winning 3-0, when they're running out of the fight, Jensen just like pops Lyra, and they're just like, oh, I guess we can't do Baron anymore. So, especially when the Syndra's that fed, I can understand their like hesitation to push, but they really did need to push out for more than what they got.
Right, because like, okay, we're scared to siege, and it's like, okay, so you just do nothing.
Get vision out.
Yeah,
do something.
You do nothing, and then next Baron, there's another team fight, and you no longer have that gold lead. Like you needed to take the risk when you had the advantage versus take the risk when you're even.
Yep. And the game stalls out, ends up having 2 teamfight wins for C9, 1 2-0 with a good Impact ulti, and then 4-0 with a good Zac Tarek.
Yeah, so there's one in this time C9's red jungle where Envy was going for an invade. Smoothie actually didn't have a great game. He had a couple late Tarek ultimates where he would die or Zac would die before it got off.
And someone was talking to me about this, and for the most part, like Tareks nowadays need to be very careful because if you're going Ardent Sensor because it's a broken item, which it probably
people
is.
go Bond of Stone and shit.
Yeah.
To get more procs off and stuff.
So if you're going that, you need to be very careful because you're a very squishy Tarek. So you have to be ulti early and positioning well, as opposed to before you're literally in the front line autoing people.
Yeah, so it's a different playstyle. Obviously, he struggled with it a little bit this game, but the last 2 fights, not only do Impact and Contract trade off doing well, but both times he hits really good ultimates. So there's one in the jungle, which Impact, great Gnar ultimate. Second time, Contract sticks in a brush. Envy walks up to contest the Baron. Zach ultimate people back into Jensen, who just blows him up.
Really good play, and of course, Jets has like an insane scoreline in this game. 2-9 win.
Mm-hmm. So a little sketchier game too, but never really fell out of their hands. It wasn't like Envy had to mess up for them to win for the most part. Seraph did try to help.
Honestly, like I would be maybe worried if Seraph had like a good week. But I don't know. But the fact that he's not consistent enough to have like a good full week makes it so that like
I have a problem. Like I think they're gonna get destroyed in the playoffs. Like they've been getting their end of the schedule has been very tough. They've had to play like a lot of top teams, and they've just been getting rocked. Like they got rocked twice this week. They lost to TSM in a close series where like TSM like didn't apparently understand draft, where they were picking weird stuff. I feel like they're gonna get obliterated, and they're the only for sure like loss for me in the playoffs right now.
I would put a lot of money on COG's side.
Let's
just put it that way. I wouldn't want to say it's for sure, but I would say...
I mean, as for sure as you're going to get.
Yeah, exactly. Moving on to today's games.
We are on today's games, brah.
Oh, was that actually... That was our first series. Oh,
yeah.
My bad.
Moving on to our second series.
P1 versus TSM. This was one very one-sided game. And the second game was what happens when TSM meets off-meta, but they actually win. So it's a 2-0, but whenever someone plays like off-meta stuff against TSM, they seem to get like a pretty good lead.
Yeah, so game 1 is Pyrion's in instead of Ryu.
And Pyrion ints.
He doesn't even int, it's just like, get this dude off the stage, you know? Kind of like...
Oh, it was so bad. Like
I think Pyrion on Envy was good. Like whatever it was, for whatever reason on that team, he synergized well, he was able to work with the team. Who knows? But Pyrion on P1 sucks. And the fact that like Ryu is not playing all the games basically says to me that P1 gave up.
I really think...
And Ryu at least gave up.
Ryu doesn't want to play with the team, but like every time he sees Pyrion play, they're just like, Ryu, we need you back, dude. And he's just like, dude, are you serious? Again? And then he just has to step on stage.
Yeah, and I feel like I don't know exactly who to throw the fault at right now. Like, do I throw the fault at Ryu for quitting? Do I throw it at the management and coaching staff for not being like, no, you have to play, fuck you, you're in the contract? Like that kind of stuff. Like I don't know where all this lands, but either way, it's kind of a joke that Pyrion's playing right now, because he's so obviously the inferior option to Ryu. It's not even like debatable. He was down 60 CS and 0-4 in mid lane.
I'm surprised they didn't bring in Selfie, honestly, because
take Selfie.
I think Selfie's okay. Like he reminds me of like Niski, obviously because they're both European,
and that's all you can think about.
No, but they both like
they're mechanically lane dominant.
Yeah, a lot of the European mid laners start off as mechanically dominant mid laners, and most of them like don't transform out of that to like later periods in their like development cycle as a pro.
Yeah,
and so like that's why I'm saying they all kind of are the same.
Yeah, it's close enough. That said, he gets smashed. And
when we say he gets smashed. It's 4-4 or 5-4 for P1 to TSM. He has all 4 deaths.
All 4 deaths, and he's down 60
And
CS.
when you watch how he died, he's literally... Oh, he ran bot lane to try to dive, but he got killed by the AD carry who jumped on him. Or
he got killed by Bjergsen.
Yeah, killed this way. He's actually just dying everywhere.
And it's one of those games where like P1 might have been in it, even if this wasn't happening.
If mid was even, P1 has a great
Even
lead.
If it was the 40 CS deficit,
yeah,
like, they're probably fine.
P1 has a great lead.
Mike Young didn't have a great game. He had like a really P1's bot lane was playing super aggressive, and they could have blown that open relatively early, but he failed Flash W. He went onto the wrong target, so they didn't get a kill, and they ended up losing summoners in that situation. It was kind of sad. Mike Young just doesn't look great in this meta.
Yeah,
he looks completely pedestrian.
You're using
using words.
Very,
I gotta show off. There's a couple thousand people watching. I need to prove I have a brain.
I'm sorry.
Well, let me cross my legs.
I didn't realize.
Give me a pipe.
We were aspiring to become a cultured show.
Quite pedestrian.
But no, I completely agree with you. Mike Young on Nidalee Lee Sin, guy's a monster. Literally 2v8s like the other team.
Yeah, he's hard carry. 1v9s.
Yeah. But on Maokai, it's like so a lot of times I don't even think he plays that bad. but it's like he can't bring the impact he can to a team to like be able to brute force a way to win. Like their only way to win was with him on carries, and now that the meta shifted, it's like, hey, you can't carry anymore.
Yeah, and your tank play isn't great. It's not even just like, he's making all the right plays on tanks. He's clearly just not as comfortable because he probably didn't put thousands of hours onto these in solo queue like he has Lee Sin in Italy. So just, he talked about it in one of the interviews between segments where, he was saying like every rookie hits the wall. I think, you usually hit the rookie wall when the meta changes. And the meta changed on me and I don't feel as comfortable. So like, it makes sense. Anyways, like we're saying, P1 doing okay. They're pressuring bottom while TSM is pressuring top. They're trading some objectives.
This is the funniest game to me, where Haunter blows ulti top lane, TP's down bot when they're getting dove.
Has no
ulti. He flashes in, and 100% he thought he had ulti. He didn't. And you see Reginald tweet something like, he tweets Haunter's comms. He's like, whoops, I thought I had ulti. I'm just like, I didn't realize
he tweeted that.
Yeah, he did. And so like that's a situation where it's like, Haunter messed up, and it could have caused like a really bad situation for his team.
Against a good team, that's like game potentially. Because it's like a 4-for-1 bot turret.
It was a really bad trade.
Yeah, horrible trade. And this is like as they were pressuring top. Like you said, he blew his ult and like got them out of lane. And like Sven's still up there like pushing turret by himself. And instead they just like kind of throw around bot lane. But then slowly there's a couple of skirmishes that TSM just like obliterate.
Yeah, 19 minutes, TSM wins 3-for-1. The next one at 21 minutes, they win 3-for-1 as well, where P1, like, it's essentially incredibly difficult to team fight any of this. You see, if you were watching Pyrion's effective play this game, watch how he team fights at 21-40. They're in the top jungle. And the way he team fights is... He does. If you look at his damage, I actually don't know what he hit in that team fight. Like I'd have to double check. He plays that fight really bad. It's literally just off arrow to see if they could do enough damage to kill everyone in the game.
He's a relatively fed Kog'Maw.
Yeah, and he's doing good. He's doing good because the Haunter play bottom set him up for success. He's like 3-1, 3-0. He's looking to do damage, but like Pyrion can't compensate for enough for him to be able.
The fact that there's a single carry on his team effectively.
Exactly.
And for the most part, like, while TSM did kind of throw, they all still are relatively in the game. They've been farming fine in that. So, like, yeah, the Gnar is relatively strong. The Gragas is relatively strong. The Triss, Corki are all relatively strong. And eventually, yeah, TSM just skirmish so hard that they get a big gold lead and then force around Baron.
All right.
That leads to game number 2.
Where Ryu comes in because his team is like, we need you, man. He's like, again? Are you serious? And then not only does he come in, they decide to pick Shyvana because, you know what? We can't win with Gragas. And Shyvana is like kind of a tank.
Kind of. And
to be fair... He does okay at Shyvana. Like, they do okay.
They do okay, but this is, like, probably as good as a game would go for Shyvana, and they still lost.
But because the comp you're playing Shyvana to is, like, the hardest kite comp in the game. One of the hardest things for Shyvana to stick on. So, in my opinion, I'm just like, why are you picking Shiv in this?
I was surprised they didn't take Sivir, kind of. Now, it is into a Callista, which is awful, but it is a Taric.
Honestly,
you have a Thresh.
I'm okay with the Draven pick. I was just a little bit surprised by the build. I'm like,
oh yeah, he didn't go any pen.
All the new school builds, I feel like go either pen or they go like pen into crit, and then he went like old school Thirster into like Mortal Reminder when they didn't have much armor, and so it was like a situation where I'm like, Arrow had a lead, and I felt like he could have optimized more optimally, built more optimally. Sorry.
Optimize optimally.
There's
There's suboptimal optimization, and then there's optimal optimization.
Yes. You know what I mean. Come on.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just have to.
But yeah, so this is a situation where actually P1's bot lane is doing great.
P1's bot lane is doing great. There's also the problem where level 1 TSM got invaded on, where like they go for a ward really aggressively on the Shyvana. They kind of get chunked out, and then Xpecial does a really nice path where he cuts in front of Biofrost. Biofrost misses the stun, so Xpecial just ignores him and keeps running past him and gets into a position where he can flash flay people back. They get 2 flashes out of the top in the jungle and a kill. So, like, pretty good start considering now, like, Shyvana's concern is that, like, the Maokai jungle turns some ganks early on and she ends up useless. But because he has no flash, he can't brute force any ganks. So this buys plenty of room for the Shyvana's early game. And then they just split the map. The Shyvana keeps invading topside and Sven's just like, all right, fuck it, I'm going to go somewhere else. And he doesn't actually get a CS lead.
Yeah, it was really surprising that like he didn't go. He stole the enemy's blue, right?
Yeah.
I'm surprised he didn't go and take his red and then go over to his blue.
That was like a double mind game thing, I think. Where
yes.
Like he stole Sven's red or blue in front of him, and then he's like, if I go to my red, Sven's gonna go to my blue, so I'm gonna go to my blue. And Sven's like, I'll just go to your red.
It really did feel that way. And so what ended up happening was Sven invaded not for the red. He invaded to try to put pressure on the golem camp with his top laner, and the red like just ended up being there. I don't even know if he expected it to be up, but he was just like, oh, it's free. Okay, I'll do it. And so I think Micah tried the mind game, like you said, and just like it didn't work out.
Yeah, so that was kind of funny. But then even after that, he kept invading blue side jungle of TSM and would take camps, but Sven would just be on the opposite side doing the same thing. So he actually didn't even get like he had an XP lead. He was like a level up, but.
He didn't have a CS lead, which is like
and the new jungle is kind of weird like that, where like you can have XP leads but not CS.
Yeah, because the golem gives you like 20 CS or something crazy like that. But anyways, the game goes forward where TSM makes like a 3-man top play, and then the big thing explodes where in 18 minutes P1 does a 4-for-0 off a dragon fight.
Yeah,
where like I think Shyvana ends, maybe not this one, but Shyvana's like 2-0-2. Like their team is looking like really good. Draven ends up getting the cash out when they're chasing into the jungle.
Holy shit, speaking of the cash out, Zach is in blob form, and fucking Mike Young just steals the kill from Ryu, or Arrow. And Ryu has to go get him another kill to get the cash out.
It's actually something where I'm like, wow, he didn't cash that, but they're like fortunate enough that they could chase this down. To where it ends up being a great thing for them, and they're in the driver's seat, and then you see like nothing really happens. P1 does a super risky Baron force.
Yep.
And it goes 2-for-0, and then Sven steals Baron.
Yeah, so they lose kills and the Baron. TSM come flying back in the game. You're like, okay, TSM's going to win. And then they fucking lose the fight.
They overcommit top lane, and on top of the tower, because it's very hard to dive the enemy comp, get 3-for-0 on top of the tower, and then you're just like, wow, this is a really close game. Especially after all these teamfights break out. Mid lane teamfight breaks out where Bjerg dies really early, and then it's a huge scrap fest where Doublelift comes out the hero.
Yeah, he gets like a triple kill or something on the Kalista.
He ends up 1v4 and gets a triple.
Yeah.
And so
he has to Hulk out so hard.
And because he does that, they then are able to secure the Baron off of that, which lets them eventually win the game.
Yeah, off the Baron, they push mid. Zach pulls 2 members into the middle of his team, kind of doing bullshit Zach things. And then once they get those 2 kills, they take mid and hib, top and hib.
Yeah, it's a full ace.
Yeah.
And then so this game's kind of all over the place.
So the way we were talking about, like, oh, it looks really good that Immortals has been smashing low-level competition, complete opposite, where the TSM struggled really hard versus Envy, probably should have lost that series. Here against P1, both games, it's like, this should have been a lot closer, but something really dumb happened.
Yeah, and, I mean, we'll go back to what you said, where, like, a team can look bad, but in this situation, like, I don't necessarily...
It's not such an obvious mechanical misplay.
Yeah, I would say, like, they're maybe reaching so far, like, really far for stuff that they shouldn't have to. For instance, they early invade the second game to where, like, they get caught. Like, getting caught like that against a better team, Sven could have gotten, like, so punished.
To be fair, CLG also went for a really aggressive invade in their game as well. So I don't mind that like, really aggressive invade. I mind the stuff, like, in game 1 where they teleport to defend their bot turret and they give up 4 kills. I mind that. And, like, yes, it's a small lapse in judgment where, like, Hanser forgot he didn't have flash. But, like, the Baron stuff, you know, like, losing a fighter on top lane inhibitor 33 minutes in the game. Like, TSM's supposed to be the team fighting team, right? Yeah. Like, they're supposed to be beasts at this. And the fact that they're throwing that stuff is just...
It means that, like, you're watching Immortals team fight, right? You're watching, like, CLG team fight, and these teams are getting clean initiations off to win games in, like, neutral positions. That used to be what TSM was really good at.
Yeah, exactly. And so, I mean, it's TSM. They'll still probably do well in playoffs.
Yes, they're still going to the finals.
They're still probably going to the finals, but it's just there's a little extra question mark or two than we're used to seeing.
I think the 2 weeks they'll have will be, like, glorious for their ability to recover, but we'll see. All right, anyways, I'm done with the series.
Me too. Get me out of here.
We're going to Fly versus TL.
You want to do that one next?
We can go the other one.
Yeah, because Fox versus Immortals.
Right. It's like I have them when they start, but Fly versus TL went to 3 games, and
it was actually, like, relatively important in terms of, like, standings.
No,
whereas this match means fucking nothing.
And you know it meant nothing because they picked Talon game 2 with the full.
This game 1.
Oh, was it game 1?
They picked Talon, and Froggen was like, give me them KDAs. Where's the karma? I'm going to kill the karma.
Oh, God. Okay. So,
holy shit, this game tilted me so bad. This is one of those things as a coach, you watch that and you're just like, you don't even fucking care, dude. In his play, you can tell Froggen doesn't care.
I will say, though, Froggen has the cleanest talent in NA.
Hey, he's fucking good. Nowhere in that sentence did I say Froggen is bad.
If you watch how he gets the first kill where Smithy dies clearing a ward because his jungler's there, he goes over the two walls to do like a perfect follow-up with his Q as well, and then goes over another wall to get out, blowing mid-flash, and he's healthy after it. Like, it was clean.
It was so clean. And then there was another case where, like, Sivir's rotating down to, like, cover mid, and Froggen sees him coming, and he gets the Sivir ult and, like, multiple summons out, and all he has to do is hop a bunch of walls. He also, like, chunks him out of the play.
Yeah.
He's, like, running all over the map doing, like, good plays, but when it comes time to, like, fight people, he just keeps killing Karma. To the point where Karma has 6 of, like, the 8 deaths. Or 5 of, like, the 10.
I think it's actually good to pick the support in some situations.
Yeah, sometimes.
But, like, you need to be... It's only in specific situations. Before we get into the team fights, though, like, what set Fox in, like, a terrible position is, like, they lane swapped this game. They tried to brute force one of those, like, oh, let's swap the bot lane, top lane.
Yeah.
They get wave cleared off. They get wave cleared off for 2 minutes, and they
lose their bot and mid turret.
Yeah, they lose first tower and have a 30 CS deficit on their AD carry. I was just like, oh my god.
And during this time, their team is just like running around. Like Froggen runs top lane, tries to get a kill. I don't think they get any. Runs mid lane, tries to get a kill, doesn't get any, and then runs bot lane to the bot lane that's pushing their tier 2 turret and tries to get another kill there. And I think they finally get like 1 or 2 down there, but like they're just running all over the place trying to get kills.
Yeah, and then you have stuff where it's like a game where you're just like, wow, this really happened. Smithy's escaped through the bot side jungle where like he ends up getting away with like almost no health.
Yeah.
And you're just like, this game is just really dumb, in my opinion.
It's really dumb. The kills are like, I don't know, like 9 to 7. Froggen has like 7 of the 9 or something.
And even starting off this game, like you already know from the Echo Fox side, they're going to have a really hard time. Because it's not like the other team doesn't have tanks when you pick. They're picking 4 AD with Gragas. Mm-hmm. The other team has 2 tanks. So already...
Well, it's 3 AD technically because it's Braum. But they have no real magic damage.
Right. I was going to say, like, come on, dude. But yeah, no, they don't have many magic damage sources, so you already know this game is going to be really, really tough. I don't really know why they picked Talon, aside from the fact that like he just wanted to play Talon. Because it doesn't seem like it worked out.
I mean, I think maybe what kind of gave it away was the Karma pick. Because when you pick Karma, you lose a ton of lockdown CC. But it actually still works fine versus Talon, because as long as you get the tether off before he goes invisible, you can kite him out.
I even think like against Shield champions, it's not like great to play this.
It's better than like Alistar.
Yeah.
Like where if you try and Alistar just ults and headbutts you out or pulls you out and you can't do anything. In that sense, like there's a little less lockdown CC, but once again, there were multiple times where he would try and get onto Cody or Ole, and Ole would get the empowered tether off, and then Monster Shield himself, and then eventually the tether ends and his ult ends and he's visible rooted.
Yeah. So, anyways, I will say though, Froggen ended up playing this game like decently well to keep them into the game. Usually when you're playing, I will say this though, as like a person who plays a decent amount of talent, you want to be playing pretty selfishly. So sometimes you'll be going for these like kills where you're just like, even if it's just like a cleanup kill, it secures you something during the fight.
It's important for Assassin to get kills, to be able to have more items than an opponent. So it's worth it sometimes to go snipe out the support in a fight. You know, just like if it's an early skirmish, a 3v3 in the bot lane, killing the support is just as effective as killing the AD carry or the mid laner often. Relatively the same.
And even like if you're getting a pick in the late game, like picking the support is probably the most important person to pick.
Right, like
you lose all vision control.
Ole like invaded once and just like Talon hopped a wall and killed him. That's fine. Where it becomes a problem is 24 minutes into the game, where Immortals win a skirmish around Baron. They start Baron off. They're kind of low. It's a situation where like it would be tough for the Talon to go in and stop this Baron. But if you have any hopes of winning the game, you go for it.
Yes.
You go for it, you suicide in there, you try and murder them and maybe steal the Baron or something, or at the very least, take a Baron away from a bunch of them, who knows. And what Froggen chooses to do, he comes flying in, Ole runs up to the top side out of the Baron pit, and Froggen just says fuck the Baron and chases Ole for a kill.
Yeah, and they lose Baron. And I think his teammate was in the pit as well, like coming.
Yeah, it was 2v4 or 2v5.
Yeah, it wasn't just him, and so that was a situation also where I'm just like, I'm pretty sure Froggen could clean that. If they made a little bit of a mistake against a 9-kill talent at that point,
it's not an easy play, but it's the play. Like if you want to win that game, you risk it. You double down on stopping them at that Baron. He just said fuck it, chase for a kill, and then the worst part was he runs mid lane a second later and tries to get another kill and just gets shut down.
And dies to the team. So after that shutdown, I don't think they really had much of a chance to win.
No, they have Baron now. They're against a team with pretty low wave clear. They have Trist.
And then they have an incredible front line, which their AD comp can't do anything to. So they just lose the game.
Yeah, and like I said, I think Froggen's a great player. I think you just look at that play, though, and you just can't help but like get infuriated because it's so clearly not the winning play. It's just like you are 100% playing for kills.
I think in that situation, you did somewhat give up.
Yeah, I think it's like indisputable. You look at that play. It's like, why would you ever chase a Karma there over a Baron?
Well, that was a
relatively close game compared to what game 2 was.
Yes.
This was just like, oh god, this is beautiful out of Immortals.
Oh wait,
the roam mid.
Oh wait. So what I wrote was because I get in my car as the series starts. So all I get to see is
you saw the roam mid.
No, I saw the way the bot lane fight starts.
Oh,
so it's a 3-man play, but somehow Mash dies.
Yeah.
And like the way where I'm just like, what? Like he gets out, but he doesn't run away. He just like has the Twitch walk up to him and he just kills him.
Yeah.
And I as soon as that happened, I was like, this is gonna be a bad game for Echo Fox. Like, very bad game.
They also killed top too, right around.
Oh, no, you have to fill me in on the rest. I literally wrote down, this is the one game you have to fill me in on.
Okay, so the bot play happens. That's great. 6 minutes into the game, Cody and Ole recall. They go mid. Pobelter dings 6 as he pushes a wave in. Froggen's still 5. Smithy comes as well. So 6 minutes into the game, they're 4-man sieging a level 5 Lucian. Acadian comes over the wall as Gragas. He's like, we got to try and clear this wave. That sounds fucking low, dude. Are you getting bombed? Anyways, they just
get 2-man
dove. Yeah, they just get dove. Like, Ole goes in, he's Alistar, headbutt Paul combo on 2 men, EQ knockup follow up. Boom, instantly kill 2 of them, push down, take mid turret right away. Bot lane's popping off. Froggen does not build a Hex Drinker on Lucian versus Syndra, builds a Blade of the Rune King, and continuously basically tries to fight Pobelter. Keeps losing said fight. Pobelter gets like a triple kill. Ole in the meantime is like roaming around, getting kills elsewhere, and Immortals just absolutely smash Echo Fox.
This is a game where I saw the 1-7 and I saw that mid lane play, and I was like, the last thing I saw was Froggen dash forward,
yeah,
and then just dying, and I'm like, you know what, this game's over.
The funniest thing is you see Pobelter ping question mark on him. He's like, what the fuck is this guy doing? Like, Hex Drinker first sucks and basically is conceding the fact that you're losing to the Syndra, but like, you are losing to the Syndra.
Honestly, from my perspective, if he goes Hex Drinker, they don't have a reason to pick Lucian. So I think him going the Bork is not a bad idea. Okay. I will say though, like
if you're gonna go the Bork, don't try and 1v1 the Syndra.
It's more like you take as much of the small advantage you can get and just call your jungler, or like work off something, because you shouldn't be looking like straight 1v1 unless you're super desperate. Which to me, like, they're obviously super desperate, like super desperate.
Yeah, I mean, okay, fair. Let's say you build the Hex Drinker, you no longer have enough damage to win a skirmish. I can understand that. So maybe you do go with the Blade of the Rune King. But if you do, you don't try and fight the Fed Syndra 1v1. It wasn't close. Like, Pobelter did not play it super well. He, like, ulted through an exhaust and then just QW'd the guy, and he lived with 400 health and Froggen was dead. Question mark pinging him. Like, at that point, you're making bad decisions.
Yeah, the decision-making maybe wasn't great, but I will say he definitely looked like a man who was very desperate.
Yeah, Echo Fox at this point is like, well, we're not in promo relegation no matter what we do. They're coming back for another strafing run. Get down. Yeah, I mean, either way, Echo Fox has nowhere to go. They can't get in the playoffs. They can't get promoted, relegated. So I just don't think they give a fuck.
Oh, they're actually just locked for 7th?
Yeah, they're locked for 7th. Is it? It's only between P1 and FlyQuest now.
It's not even to be fair, it's not a bad position to be in for them. Like, I feel like they're just bored.
Oh, yeah, that's why they're doing this. They're like, none of this shit matters. Get me out of here. Half this team's gone. I don't want to play with these motherfuckers. Like, Frogman's like, I'm a franchise player. I'm not going anywhere.
And you know Equifox will literally, like, nuke the team.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, too, this team, they have never made playoffs. Equifox has never made playoffs. They've been promoted, relegated twice. And the other 2 times they just missed playoffs. It's just like...
It's much more impressive for me to see a team like Envy come in. Like, fresh off the rocks. They got, like, a couple players that you don't really expect can make it there. And they're making playoffs twice in a row now, right?
No, they were relegated last split. They were in relegation tournament.
Oh, it was a split before they made playoffs.
Yes, they made playoffs, got relegated, back into playoffs.
But I mean, they've gone playoffs 2 out of 3.
It's not bad, for sure. I just mean, like, you know, and their moves make sense. Ninja sucked. Get a better mid. They got better mids. They're trying to figure things out.
Yeah, and maybe at the end of the split, they're like, okay, well, we probably need another top lane, potentially. And so with that in mind, like, if they get another top, how does the team look then?
Yeah.
Maybe pretty good, actually.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a situation. Anyways, that's it for this series. Immortals is either the 1 or the 2 seed. 100% have a playoff bye. They look super good in their last week. Expect a lot out of them. Equifox, that's the last time we are going to... Oh, do they play tomorrow? They play tomorrow.
They play tomorrow.
Fuck. All right, not the last time we're going to see them.
You seem so disappointed. Oh, okay. So we're gonna talk about TL. Okay, so we should talk about what this game means.
So this series, if TL won, they were not necessarily in promotion relegation.
Yes.
FlyQuest, the same way. Both teams really need this win to avoid promotion relegation. And so what ends up happening is this is also the debut of Mickey. So he, is the import Korean who was supposed to do well and revitalize the team.
I talked about this with my chat for the most part. So if you're bringing in a mid lane player for literally the last week of relegation, someone who's only played with your team for maybe a week, maybe less than a week.
I think they scrim this week and that's it.
Like, what is he? Is he that much better than Golden Glue? On top of that, like, not only like people are throwing out numbers. I don't know what's going on, dude.
Is there like the Red Bull air race right now? Like, what the fuck is going on?
Oh, okay. The people are throwing out numbers to me. You know what his Ori win rate was before the series?
What was that?
28%.
And he played it all 3 games?
Yes. Which actually increased his win rate because you won one.
Holy shit.
I just want to put that into perspective for you as we approach this series. So they're bringing in someone who's like...
I didn't know that.
Not necessarily known for like his exceptional Ori on the play. And like didn't necessarily do great in any of his Ori games, I would say.
He looked completely average.
Yeah, and it's like, we gave up Golden Glue for this? Like, is he...
Think about how you're phrasing that. We gave up team synergy for this.
Yeah, sorry. That's what I meant. That's what I meant.
Yeah, because he did fine in lane. Something you usually can't say for Golden Glue. He did not lose lanes. I mean...
I guess that's true. Maybe it was a good decision, but...
Well, I
expected more out of Mickey. Like, watching him, like, oh, this guy's going to pop off. In the first game, I'm like, oh, he
killed flashed
himself.
into the turret and killed himself. Yeah. So what I'd say is, like, individually, did Mickey look better? Yes. Slightly better. Not significantly. Not to the point where you're like, thank God we got this guy. His upgrade. Did Dardoch look better than Rainover? Close.
I actually thought Dardoch played this series the best he's played since I've seen this split.
He played super well. Rainover recently has been playing well as well.
Yeah.
So like Rainover the last 3 weeks was playing around this level.
Yeah. But I just want to throw it out there. Like, this is the best Dardoch has played in like 5 weeks. Like, actually, this is a great series from him.
Yeah, absolutely. And the problem is, multiple times in the series, TL has the lead and can't close, and High makes a play or something, and they lose. And this is one of those things where, like, they probably can't close the game because this roster's been playing together for 1 week. Whereas, like, at least TL in previous weeks was winning. At least they were winning.
I want to say something, like, aside from Mickey not doing that well, Piglet's actually playing really well. Like,
Piglet's been, ever since he kind of had that freak out interview. Remember that?
He's been playing really well.
Yeah, ever since like week 4 or 5, it's been like no problems from Piglet. What's going on with the rest of the team?
I'm like a person who doesn't really like Piglet's play, and I think that relatively he was overrated for like a decent amount of his time here. But this, like, later half of the season, he's been killing it, actually. Like, just doing really well.
Yeah, the freak out interview, if you guys missed it, it wasn't like a super freak out interview. It was just, he did a, typed up interview. Well, it wasn't, he didn't give it. He was at LCS. They lost in a really bad way. He did an interview with OGN Global or whatever. And Piglet is known to be a person who, when he gets frustrated, gets very emotional and just fucking rants.
Yeah, just
and he'll like, I'm the greatest. These guys fucking suck. And he basically had an interview like that where he's like, my teammates suck. They don't try. I'm the best. I'm playing perfectly. I was a perfect mid laner, by the way. And it's just like, dude, you're on like drugs. Like, how do you think that? And then ever since that, he's calmed down from what I can tell. So
yeah,
I think he was just stressed out and freaked out.
All right, whatever. Game 1, Mickey's first game on Ori. Starts off with Dardoch meeting Moon and River, and then getting his flash blown, and then Dardoch taking his red buff. So starts off for a great position for TL.
They slightly misplay in the top side to end up giving a 1-for-1, but still a decent play.
Yes, and then the 7-minute mark rolls around where TL's making this big play bot lane, and they go 2 for 3.
Watch,
and Mickey just like flashes in and just kills himself.
Everyone does dumb shit. Like this, just if you watch this 7-minute skirmish. Just that's the entire series. All 3 games are like this. Horrible fights, horrible skirmishing. No one's 100% on the same page. And it's not, I shouldn't say horrible. Just like zero coordination. 100% solo queue feel. Where like the waves coming in, Turtle's alone under the turret, and Matt and Dardoch are like chasing Moon. And then like they slowly start collapsing back into the turret, and they turn back onto Moon. They turn back and forth. And Piglet this whole time is like, guys, can we just kill Turtle? And then Mickey comes in, and Mickey flashes in and misses his shit, and then he gets traded 1-for-1. And then like High roams down later. And
the worst thing about that situation is he has flash and ulti. If he just ultis on the tower, he hits everyone there.
Well, it's only Turtle under there.
No, it's 2 people because it was Lemon and Turtle.
No, Lemon was on the left. Lemon was with Moon. Turtle was by himself. It was Lemon and Moon, Matt and Dardoch, Turtle, Piglet.
I'm pretty sure I remember 2 people under the tower.
Maybe it's a different play I'm thinking of.
No. You're thinking about the right play. I think there was another play under the tower. No, Lemon was
under the turret.
No, I'm telling you, there were 2 people under the tower with like 10% health. And I was like, oh, so he just flash shockwaves this, right?
Yeah.
Because if he doesn't do that, then as he's leaving and he shockwaves, he has a cast time on it, so he eats another tower shot.
Lemon got under the turret eventually.
It
started with him
split. Yeah, he like walked him.
It was so ugly, my brain can't even remember.
No, I'm telling you, I was watching this, I was like, wow, Mickey is just not that as good as I thought. Like, the fact that Turtle even converted that into a 1-for-1 was like the worst.
It went from a full health, both summoners Morgana against, I think, a summonerless Tristana, and ends up a 1-for-1. You're just like, how?
It's like, but even with this being said, like,
it's still a 2-for-3.
Yeah, it's okay. Then Moon and High make a play mid lane. Dardoch turns the play, BM's a little bit at the end, but gets a 2-for-1 off them killing Mickey. And Dardoch is doing great. He's like 3-0-1. He's actually been in like all the team fights. That's what I'm saying. Like, he has a pretty good series.
I mean, this series is just nonstop fighting. It's just skirmish.
Yep. I think in all the games though, Piglet and TL focuses on getting Piglet like a lead. They may gank top lane like once, but for the most part, like, Piglet is their carry position, and he consistently is able to get leads out of lane.
And a lot of the time, it's because their bot lane's just generally outplaying FlyQuest bot lane.
I think Matt's playing pretty well. Like, we talked
about
Matt
on Thresh had some beast ass games, especially like we'll get to game 3, but game 1, he was playing pretty well again with Thresh. And
TL 3-for-0 at Baron at 29 minutes. They eventually get they don't get Baron there. They reset. They get Baron immediately after that because they just force it.
Because FlyQuest goes to Dragon. They get 3-for-0 at Baron. They have 3-for-0. They all pretty low, but it's only a Corki up. I feel like they could have recalled the Cho'Gath and TP'd him back in and just had him tank the Baron. Maybe that's too risky.
No, the 3-for-0 was for
nothing. They didn't get anything from it. They got 3-for-0. They all recalled, and then they went back to Baron, and FlyQuest went to Dragon. They just took the Baron after for free. If FlyQuest didn't completely just sack the Baron, I feel like there's no reason that...
I don't think they should have lost the Baron that easily, but it was...
It was vision control, but like they just didn't go to it. It was like a full minute later that they got the Baron. Because I have 29 minutes, and I have like 30, 20 or something, where Fly sack Baron and go for the Dragon.
Yeah. I mean... Either way, it's like, I'm not expecting perfect play from this series, and I think if you are watching TL games for perfect.
You're literally watching the people tied for 9th trying to avoid going to promo relegation. Like this series is played at exactly the level you thought it would be.
Yeah, I mean, there's another close fight afterwards, which, like you said, FlyQuest is starting to randomly win fights.
No, like Turtle's or Piglet's the only one who walks up to hit turret when they could have just finished it off. So he gets CC'd and killed at the start of the fight.
It's a situation where like it's obvious like, they're not on the same team, but FlyQuest's one thing is that they kind of are. Like they at least have 2 people who are willing to initiate, and regardless of how individually they are, they can play as a team sometimes. Whereas TL just seems to lack that trait.
And that's mostly how the series goes. Where like for the most part, TL winning first 20 minutes, not by a huge amount, but like 3 or 4K, 5K. They usually get some kind of objective that should win them the game. They fail to win with said objective, and then FlyQuest finds an opportunity.
And then the most random thing happens where FlyQuest just wins a fight 4-0 and wins the game.
Yeah, they're like
at 36 minutes.
Yeah, TL has bot inhib broken after that fight that Piglet died at the beginning. And then, they just win a fight near mid.
And then win the game. And I'm just like, the entire time I'm like, oh, TL's going to win this game.
Yep, TL's going to win.
They're looking great. Like, this is looking really good, and then they just lose.
Yep. Game 2?
Yeah, game 2.
TL there's a 2 for 2 in the bot lane.
Oh, Mickey plays Ori again.
Mickey's playing Ori this time.
He plays Ori all 3 games. Just
TL has Callista and Blitzcrank. For some reason, the last 2 games, TL decides Nautilus is the tank they want to play.
I played with Lolo's Nautilus and solo queue recently. I think this is just something they've been practicing.
Like he is a good Nautilus player. Don't get me wrong, but it's a horrible champion in the meta. It's down 30 CS to Balls' Renekton.
Was it 30? I thought it was like 45.
45.
It was like, I saw the tower gone, and like, they're like worried about getting 1v2'd by the Renekton.
Yeah, they almost do. They have to leave him. Yeah. They can't take a 2v1.
So at that point, I'm like, oh, okay, so Fly just win this game. Because their Renekton is a monster, and there's no way TL can recover.
I just don't know why you're on Nautilus. Like, there's so many tanks in the meta. Like, you have Gragas, Maokai.
To be honest, Nautilus' like type of CC, his ulti is really, really effective against certain champions. So I would say it's good against lower range.
You're making the girl cry. So come on. What is with today, dude? There's like a plane bombing somebody.
Maybe they're all connected.
Anyways, like Nautilus' CC and team fighting has never been the concern, right? Like it's fine.
Yeah.
The problem is your laning phase is complete ass.
Yeah, and especially against Renekton, you're not going to do anything.
Yeah, it's like, and you can take a champ that's fine. Like take Gragas, right? Gragas was unbanned. Yep, could have gone Gragas. I guess he doesn't play Gragas.
He does.
But I mean, like, Gnar and Galio are banned.
It's just something that he's been comfortable playing for a long time, and he thinks is okay. Which didn't work out, but still somehow ended up working out.
Yeah, it doesn't work out, but it works out.
Oh my god. I actually don't have specific notes about what happens before the 19-minute mark, so if you want to take it from there, or before that point.
It's like there's a 15-minute 2-for-0 pick in the jungle, which goes in TL's favor. It's really nothing special. They just like it's another scrappy game. TL ekes out a couple leads, and then eventually at 24 minutes they sneak a Baron.
Yeah, and Callista starts 2-0 this game, right?
Yeah, because there was a 2-for-2 in the bot lane that Callista got a double kill in.
Yeah, and then she gets a 20 CS lead. So again, like their bot side's off to a good start. Top side lost disgustingly hard. Get this lead, and then TL does this great team fight at Dragon at 19 minutes, where they have 2 people sit in the bush. And then they wait for the initiation, and then Lemon Alistair combos in, hits 2 people, and Renekton is able to get, like, I think a 5-man queue. Something crazy. And they just slam the team fight.
Yeah. So they smash that team fight. It brings the gold lead close, but TL's still in the lead. And that's when they go and they sneak a Baron.
Yes, and it ends up being a 1-for-1. And you're just like, okay, 1-for-1. That's terrible. Like, TL got away with murder, but it's okay. And then FlyQuest over-chases them top lane, doesn't get a tower, and TL reverse pushes mid for 2 towers. And I'm just like, what did I just witness? What did I just watch?
And the game gets worse from there. Like, you're already like, what was that play? Like, what were you, like, so greedy, so aggressive?
And
it gets worse.
The funniest thing is here, at some point I realized that, wait, FlyQuest is just winning these fights. Again, because like either their front line is more consistent, they have really strong threats with Corki and what was their other thing? Corki Caitlyn? Really, really strong threats. On top of the fact that they have double Infernal, which by the way, they get triple Infernal.
And eventually they start winning these fights to the point where they're able to get their own Baron. TL also, with their first Baron, took mid inhibitor. Again, they took an inhibitor, but does nothing. FlyQuest get a Baron. They're pushing down mid lane. It looks like they're gonna win. They drop like the Maokai ultimate, and they all like kind of run forward to like take the turret and win the fight. Except they lose the fight and get 4-for-1, and then TL ends the game.
Wait, this is after they try to end the game and highlight packages them, right?
Yeah.
And then they
that's after they took the mid.
After they're killing the Nexus, TL's trying to end the game. High just packages them with Lemon on Alistar, CCing them. Gets a triple kill there. They reverse get Baron, push down mid lane, get like pretty much ace, and then TL runs it back down. And I'm just like, what is?
It's just up and down team. It's like one of those things where like I don't want to go over like every major team fight. It's just like we'll be here all day being like, did you see that dumb play?
So, anyways, really back and forth game where TL comes out on top in the situation where you're not quite sure what's happening with the game. Period.
Yeah.
Third game comes along, which FlyQuest eventually wins.
And once again, TL starts out great. Matt hits some big hooks in the bot lane, has a great roam up to the top side. As a gank is coming up there randomly, just saves Lorlo and gets a double kill for his team.
Super good play.
Goes mid, cuts off Lemon's roam, gets another kill. Dardoch starts popping off as well. He's like 4-2 or something.
Yeah, he starts 3-0 again, so he's off to a great situation again. And
TL starts baiting Baron. They kill some people and get Baron. It looks like this is like a for sure win.
And then you know what happens? What's the first thing you want to do once you get Baron?
You want to just
you want to play Ori, and then when you get Baron, you upgrade your Darksteel to a Medjai's after you're like 1-1. So you really just think
Medjai's had like 4 stats.
You really just think the Medjai is going to carry this game, and then you go bot lane without your team, and you push up into tier 2 with none of your teammates there, and you get initiated on by 4 people, and you die and lose all your stacks. That's what happens. That's what you should do
when you already had like not many stacks.
Yeah. It's a situation where I was like, the other team has 2 MR items on their front line. I'm just like, what's the first thing you buy after
the Medjai's had 10 stacks? Was it that much?
I think it was a 10-stack Darksteel. But like, why would you buy that? Like, it's like you're literally their tanks are about to hit their MR item spike. You need the Void Staff timing. Please go for Void Staff. And he goes for Medjai's and just gets picked off in the side lane, loses all his stacks.
Oh, God. I mean, after that, things continue to get worse. Like, FlyQuest lost another Baron where TL, like, cleaned up, and it looks like TL's going to win again. And they start fighting around Elder Dragon afterwards, and this is where FlyQuest finally win the game because, like, Cho'Gath can't do anything in the fight.
Cho'Gath?
It's the last one. Yeah, wasn't Lorlo on Cho'Gath?
Lorlo on Nautilus again?
Oh, wait, he's on Nautilus again. What am I smoking? That was the first game.
I'm so confused.
It was the first game where he was on Cho'Gath. I was like, brain fart.
It's just a situation where, for the most part, the way I see TL winning is they can never win with their carry.
I got my game 1.
Their carry not on Callista or.
Yeah, he was on Varus, and this is the game where Corki just valks on his face. That's right.
Yeah, this is the game where he just randomly gets picked mid lane. Mm-hmm. So Corki valks on him, gets the kill, they win the team fight, and the game's over.
Yeah, this is one where you have to. Yeah, my bad, guys. Too much Minecraft. This is one where you just kind of have to tip your cap to High, just being like aggressive enough to make like a 50-50 play. Because that was like literally who crits more probably gets that kill.
Yeah, and then him and Turtle crit like a monster that team fight. But to be fair, like he's got the initiative to be able to do this kind of stuff, and like that's why FlyQuest at least has something special.
Like when you get into scrappy low level games, you'll bet on FlyQuest more often than not because they'll do this once. And, like, the other team doesn't have that, like, like, go for the jugular killer instinct where, like, all right, if this works, guys, we just win the game, so I'm going for it.
Yep. Well played by High there. FlyQuest clean out 2-1 in not a clean fashion, but in the fashion that they'll take because...
They're trying to get the fuck out of promo rally.
Yeah, they did not want to be in relegations.
And if they are able to win tomorrow versus P1, they will be in the gauntlet.
Oh, yeah, that was a real big thing. So, yeah, if they are now potentially in this... Oh, not only that. No, they don't even have to do that. What ends up happening is if Envy loses their first playoff game. So they just have to avoid relegation, which I think they did with this.
Yeah, they just... No.
It's not guaranteed?
No, they have to play P1 tomorrow.
Oh, wait. So if they win that one and Envy loses their first round, which is...
I don't think it matters.
Are you sure? I just saw someone tweet that. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure it matters because they got 30 from getting 4th, right? And you get 30 for just qualifying.
You get 10.
No, not in the second round. You get 10 from the first split. You get everything goes up by 20.
Yeah.
They basically bump everything up a tier in the summer split.
No, Envy gets 20. It's not that 30. So like they have
it's only at 20?
They have to lose after the first game. And if they do, then they're fine. And FlyQuest gets Gauntlet, Envy doesn't. So Envy could potentially go to the playoffs,
but that's only a guarantee. Because one team's going to get in through first place qualifications. And as long as that's not Immortals, it doesn't matter. Because Immortals right now does not have any points.
We're talking at the very end of the bracket where...
yeah, I know what you're saying, but
FlyQuest is 30 and Envy, if they lose first round, gets 20.
Yeah, but 4 teams go into the Gauntlet. And P1 doesn't matter. They already lost their points. So the 4 teams you're going to get are... You're going to lose the winner.
Yeah.
You're going to lose the most points.
CLG, C9...
CLG, C9, let's say Immortals.
Oh, I guess they both get it.
Yeah,
never mind.
Because let's say TSM and CLG are out, then it's C9, Immortals, Dig, Envy, or P1.
So they just need to dodge relegations to make sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they just have to dodge promo relegation because Dig and maybe no.
Oh wait. So
yeah, whatever the fuck, dude.
Whatever.
Let's leave some Riot nerds to math this out.
Let's just ask what games actually matter tomorrow.
So the 2 games that matter tomorrow are both of the second sets. So TSM versus CLG. One is just a super fucking awesome series, and if TSM wins, they get the first seed over Immortals.
Ooh.
Which is important because playoffs have dynamic seeding. So let's say some crazy shit happens, they'll always have the easiest matchup, as well as always having first pick advantage in the best of 5. So if TSM's able to win, that's pretty important.
And then the FlyQuest.
And then the FlyQuest versus P1, winner gets out of promo relegation.
And potentially hits Gauntlet.
And potentially gets Gauntlet.
FlyQuest potentially hits Gauntlet because...
Well, P1 has 50.
Oh.
Because they got 3rd.
Can P1 also avoid the Gauntlet as well?
They can make the Gauntlet.
Oh, avoid the relegation?
Yeah, if they win. I think they have the head-to-head or something.
Wow, this is... Okay.
So the only team locked in right now is TL in promo relegation. So yeah, check out both the series tomorrow. They're going to be very important and super hype. P1 has 40. I feel like people just didn't look at this. I was looking at this today. They were bringing up brackets and shit. I'm pretty sure it was 10, 10, 30, 50, 70, 90 or something like that.
I think so too.
Yeah, and then
10, 10, 30, 50, 70, 90, yeah.
I think that's what it is.
Yes.
Fucking Twitch chat.
Don't trust them, dude. That's all I gotta say. Okay.
Yeah, that's why when they're like, "Oh no, Envy still needs to win or to lose for FlyQuest," I'm like, no one in my meeting today said that. And to be fair, I could be wrong. So,
all right,
we'll wait to see what they say tomorrow.
So, as on Saturday, sometimes we end with a Q&A. How are you feeling today? You feel like you want to end with a Q&A? You feeling?
I don't know,
not
man.
Great?
I'm feeling fine, but Twitch chat's pissing me off today. I don't know if we give them the luxury of asking our great questions.
Would you say that the questions are quite pedestrian?
I would say our viewers. I know.
It's up to you, dude. I'm down for either one.
Yeah, let's do some QA. I'm down for a couple.
So, you know what? We're not going to do QA over Twitter. Just ask us questions in Twitch chat. Ask us whatever you feel like that isn't viability questions or champion-related questions for the most part.
Hey, Nasus got changed. What do you think about Nasus?
Hit us with some questions. We'll answer a couple. How did you think about Biofrost?
We did do Fox vs. Immortals. We just did it before.
Yep, we did it. Was Mark hyped for the Patriots this season? He doesn't even watch soccer.
That's football. And I don't watch it super closely anymore, but I will follow the big games.
Instantly had to correct me, dude.
Yeah. What are your MVP picks? All right, so I said, without putting a ton of thought into it yet and doing all the research I usually do, I would probably put Jensen.
So my list would be something like Jensen, Bjerg, I'm trying to think of what like a top 5 list would look like.
Well, so my question to you is between Ole and Smithy, who do you give it to? Because I think you have to give a nod to one of the two.
It would be Smithy
over Ole.
Oh, if I'd have to look into it, but off the top of my head, it would be Smithy, and then it'd be like Ole Darshan. I actually think that's how I would do it. But that's just
to round out your 5.
Yeah, that's just like off the top of my head. I'd probably look back at it.
Yeah. Ole has such terrible stats.
I know what he does for his team.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Watch him and Smithy play Immortals games. They're the reason they win.
Watch game 2 from them and watch their level 3 or level 4 roam mid just obliterate Froggen's face and like instantly win the game.
Yeah. I think, yeah. Best analyst in the world and why is it MarkZ? That's a terrible question.
Horrible question.
All right, either of you guys doing anything for Worlds? I think we're finalizing the details.
What's the point of promo relegations if there's the whole little permanent partnership thing?
You want me to answer this?
If you actually know the answer, sure, go for it.
I was told that Rumorville is that if you want to get franchised and you're not in the LCS, it'll cost you an extra $3 million.
Is that even a rumor? I thought that was like.
Is it confirmed?
I thought that was. I saw someone post it on Reddit very like definitively, and I assumed that they knew what they were talking about.
That's what scares me. So I don't want to say that it's confirmed without me being double checking sources.
I haven't double checked. Well, yeah.
It's fact. Okay, it's confirmed.
Yeah,
but $3 million is a lot of money. A lot of money.
It's a little sad because the players will not get any of that.
Yeah.
So it's not like, hey, maybe they have like a bonus in their contract. There's potential that they have a bonus.
They usually do, but the bonus at best would be like
here's 100,000.
Like 10% split among 5 players.
Yeah,
and like 2.5% for the coach as well.
Yeah,
like
some stuff.
That's actually what would be like a reasonable one.
Yeah.
Who I think will get franchised? Well, I think almost all the current teams will be, except for
every current team.
I don't know about FlyQuest.
I think FlyQuest is really scary. I think P1 might be a little sketch. I personally think they're fine.
I think they're fine. FlyQuest is what I'm like. Actually, what's funny? FlyQuest is pushing out a lot of content this split. I didn't really know this until I looked at what they're doing. They have like a series. They have like multiple series. They have like guides and stuff like that. Where I feel like they're pushing out more like content than some of the other teams. But it doesn't matter because they have no big names behind them, and their content isn't getting.
Well, I mean, they have High and Lemon and Balls.
Well, I mean, like actually like big name, like the 76ers, dude. There were.
Oh well, yeah. They have some NBA money, I think. Like,
yeah,
it's like a son of a guy.
Yeah, but I don't really feel like they have it secured. Whereas, like, I look at Immortals, I'm like 100% secured, not even a question.
Yeah, I think you look at the old guard plus Dig plus them.
They're owned by a $2 billion company, the Milwaukee Bucks. I'm still not like completely sold on the idea that they're in the league.
I mean,
I'll be completely
honest. I don't think that matters because everyone's gonna have big names behind them.
Yeah, like everyone who's trying to get franchising in NA has like enormous names behind them.
Fucking. Guys who own every sports league are coming.
Yeah, so my question is, if I'm gonna talk to you about people who are like really the faces of their team, and I'm gonna be like, okay, so what do you know about Echo Fox? Someone out there is gonna be like, I love Rick Fox. He's like a dad to me.
Hey, what about Immortals? That Noah Winston guy seems like he knows what he's doing. Hey, what about FlyQuest?
High.
Yeah, High. Yeah,
I love High.
He runs that whole team, right? And like he's the org. Like the FlyQuest org doesn't even feel like it exists.
Dude, the funniest thing is at some level, I feel like Immortals actually has too much content produced around Noah. Like way too much. Like a degree where I'm just like, where's your content with your players? All the announcement videos are done by him. Like all like the like looking back stuff. Which by the way, he's like the best speaker of anyone in the house by far because he used to do the debate in college. So like. He knows what he's talking about, probably the best, but I'm just like, Immortals content is just Noah sometimes. And that's just kind of weird. It's like if all of content that like COG produced was just Hotshot, which would be weird too, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of curious. And as well as the fact that like while I love Noah and he's like a great figurehead, sometimes when you look at like the actual operating level of the team of some of that. Like not necessarily the league team. I think the league team's pretty well off, but some of the other branches of Immortals are kind of like, what? That guy does that?
There'll be an Overwatch league as well, so like they are going to be heavy hitters.
Yeah, just some of the managers I've seen at various points of that org. I'm kind of like, I don't know about
that. What else? Can the old teams pay for it themselves? No old team will be without investors. I don't think you really understand how much it costs.
Yeah, like this is not just like here's a one-time $10 million down payment, but like when you submit this like plan to them, you're supposed to have like a couple year plan. Like we're gonna do this stuff, we're gonna do that, we're doing this, and it all has operational costs. So like yes, it is a $10 million down payment, but then it's probably operational costs of like $2 million a year, and you need 10 million liquid because like let's say TSM, right? Like TSM. If you value that entire organization, it's probably valued over $10 million, like way over $10 million. But that does not mean you're sitting on $10 million of cash.
Yeah.
There's a huge difference between liquid money and actual assets.
And from what I understand from every org that I've talked to, no one makes a profit in esports.
No one has $10 million sitting around.
There's one team or two teams total in all of League of Legends orgs that make profit. And not like by a considerable amount, it's like a couple tens of thousands. And then it's like, they're all going in with the idea that franchising will eventually quadruple to quintuple the amount of money that their company's worth, which can in the future work out to be true. But yeah, no one's sitting on like millions of dollars when they none of them are even breaking even.
Yeah, they're not like, here, let me just scoop up my 10 million from my $100 million pile.
8 of the 10 teams aren't even breaking even.
Yeah, and so that's why you need the outside investment, because those guys can go, oh, let me scoop out 10 million from my $2 billion pile and dump it in there.
It's you need a little bit more. Let me just do it again.
Oh, what's that? It's going to cost you $5 million a year to run. That sounds reasonable to me. There you go. TL, please get whatever signees you want.
Oh, man.
What else we got? Random questions about other leagues, even though we're an NA talk show.
Yeah. Thoughts about EU applying for NA LCS? They're smart. But Riot will never accept them.
It'll never work. There was zero downside to doing it, probably.
Yes.
Just kind of like a shot in the dark, like, hey, yeah, see, NA's way more lucrative. It's just a fact. So why not try and change? It just won't happen because it's so bad for the EU league that Riot won't allow.
Riot won't be like, oh, you have all of your G2. You've been like the #1 face of EU for like 2 years. Sure, let's move you to NA so we can just have this league die.
It's one of those things that you just do to piss off the other person. Like, EU was like, where's our franchise? Well, the orgs, not the whole region, but the orgs were like, where the fuck is our franchising? And Riot was like, you guys are good. And like, oh yeah, we're good. We're going to go apply over here. And then somehow it's going to get leaked that we did this. Like,
somehow.
Yeah, somehow someone leaked it. Who knows? Maybe it's Riot's side. Maybe it's 100% the orgs to try and point how important it is that they want franchising in EU.
I will say this though. I hope franchising brings about a different league format. I 100% know it will. I hope Riot really thinks about it because they did not have they did not have the chance to make many mistakes the first year that franchising happened. So
I think it's very likely that Riot redoes the format.
Yes,
because as much as I like best of threes,
it's awful.
In the current format, it's awful because you have 2 streams. It's all over the place. You have Friday games. You can't watch everything.
Knockout concurrent streams. Knockout best of threes. I'm down for a best of 1, but I think it's bad for the teams. So we settle for a best of 2 and potentially.
I don't think best of 2s. I think you either go fully best of 3 or best of 1.
You want to do best of 1? I'm down.
So here's the thing. I hated best of 1 because I think in League of Legends, a game where there's so many variables, having a single game decide something is dumb. But I thought when they removed best of 1 from leagues, they were going to remove it from tournaments. And yet, every major international tournament has best of 1s. So now I'm like...
I'm down for a multiple game, a weekly format where you play multiple best of 1s.
Yeah.
Because like the group stage at Worlds, right? Wow, that's best of 1s.
Yeah, so if tournaments are going to have best of 1s anyways, then like... Okay, fine, give me best of 1s.
Yeah, because in the end, the playoffs are going to be best of 5s.
Yeah, so playoffs are going to be best of 5s. Group stage is going to be best of 5, but league format and group stage, are best of ones.
I'm down.
And if that's the case, then like so be it. Because if it's slightly worse for teams but significantly better for viewers, I understand you need to appeal to the viewers as well.
And for me, I hate watching concurrent streams. Like,
well, so that's my bigger problem, is the concurrent streams.
Oh my! I actually want to blow my brains out. Like, you cannot do any kind of high level analysis watching two streams at once. Because while I'm watching the level 1-on-1 stream, the other stream does something where I'm just like, oh my god! And I look back, I'm like, wait, what was his route? What did he start? Like, what did he do?
They play twice in groups. Why not play best of two? Because adaptations happen. That's both in micro senses, in an individual series, and in an overall tournament setting where like week to week people realize I misread the meta. This is not as good as I thought it was. Well, I got bad intel based off these scrims, and like having things take time is good. Best of ones are just bad because like ANX picks fucking Elise support or something, or brand support,
and it blows you out.
And it blows you out one time, and they're still clearly the worst team in the fucking tournament, but somehow they get through the groups.
And I think in the league format, like if you lose multiple best of ones in a row, which to be fair, I remember TSM's game 1 record like last split or the game that split before was pretty bad. And if you talk to TSM, they're probably not going to be like, yeah, dude, we always should get best of 3s because our best of 1 record, our first game record sucks. The argument there is probably just like, look, like best of 3s are better, but like best of 1s, you shouldn't be losing this many game 1s. Like,
yeah, that's the thing. It's like I don't feel like when we had best of 1s, we ever ended up in playoffs, and I was like, how the fuck are all these teams here?
No.
Yeah, it felt fine. And then once you get to playoffs, I feel like the best team has always won. I've never felt like that was unlucky.
Like maybe in the top 4, you have two teams that are like the better teams face off against each other. I think that's happened like maybe once.
Like CLG versus TL, right? In spring split, it was like neck and neck. Game 5, TL barely lose, and then Game 5 in the finals, TSM barely lose. And it's like, okay, all those teams were maybe kind of close, but aside for that, like it didn't feel like, oh, CLG didn't deserve to win. They did. They played really well. So I think it's just the kind of thing where if best of ones come back, I'm fine with it for viewer experience and because international tournaments are still using them.
Please, for my personal enjoyment. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
I care about everyone else, but I also care about myself. I would like to be
makes my job easier.
Yeah, it makes my personal enjoyment watching League a lot higher. Oh, maybe honestly that might just be concurrent streams talking because
I think concurrent streams is the bigger problem.
Like I would love to see a best of 3, but the thing is like for me personally, like I don't like watching like, you know, I don't mind like the Super Fiesta style games, but there's like not much enjoyment if you're watching like consistently low level play. You're going to a game and you're just like, these teams are gonna be like.
If you watched like let's say FlyQuest TL and that was the only series on and you had to watch 3 games of that. That's what best of one's good for. I mean, you don't get quite as many great games either.
Yeah,
but it just brings the differences closer together. So like, I don't need to watch TSM CLG every single time.
Maybe the way that they make this better is like the entire league format is best of 1 throughout, and then what ends up happening is as the playoff format gets extended a little bit, so that it works into like the finals top 6 teams. But like maybe it starts out with like maybe something else, you know? It starts at like a 1 round before, similar to Worlds.
Yeah.
And I think that would be a more fair situation where it's like you're not just throwing dogpiling people from like best of 1s to best of 5s. Maybe you build up like a group scenario where it's like a best of 3.
I think maybe, you know, best of 3 like play-in thing for
exactly. For like maybe the last 4 teams, like.
I don't know. I don't think it matters. Like best of 1 and best of 5 is fine. Like most of the guys who have been playing in the league for more than 2 years have done this transition before. You do best of 1 scrim blocks not best of 1 scrim blocks. You do 3-hour scrim blocks, as many games as you can play, and then when you transition to best of 5 for playoffs, you actually play legitimate best of 5s for practice. Like, we've all done that transition before. Everyone who's been in the scene. So it wouldn't be the end of the world to go back to it.
Oh, and someone asked, why would you not win best of 2s?
I just don't personally enjoy best of 2s because the third game, I feel like, is where both teams have had a chance to adapt. So let's say I win game 1, game 2 you do some stuff and ban some stuff out, and then game 3 I have my chance to be like, okay, I've seen what you've done now, here's my response. And it feels kind of weird to like just cut out the third game when it is so much about like
I think and the fact that it lacks closure is a really bad thing from
the closure
the
is a
viewer
bad tier.
perspective. Come on, Europe had best of twos for a long time. You're telling me that all the people who watch Europe were just like, I love best of twos. I think all the analysts like best of twos. I personally think analyzing from best of two format is great, but from a viewer perspective, entertainment wise, I prefer best of ones.
People are saying, what about LCK? Just have games on every night of the week. Whatever else, there's like 6 of them.
It's possible, but it's also a situation where it's like that's a lot of work for me.
So I don't mind it,
and I don't mind it too much. But it's also a situation where it's like you want to watch League every night.
Yeah, I feel like you
every night.
I feel like you end up in the same problem where like you're just diluting the viewers.
Like not only because now you're watching like 5 days of League for NA, 5 days of League for LCK. 3 days of League because Europe always has to be different, right? So 3 days of League for Europe.
Europe actually plays once a month.
China does like 4 days a week. I don't know what China does. So it's like you're essentially making it possible for you to watch League like 99% of the time.
Papa Smithy, it's a lot of work for some people. I mean, I just don't think for the viewers they would enjoy it that much. I think it actually makes it a lot easier on the broadcast team because currently, like you would just kind of break it up into halves, right? Like you're on the first half of the week, this guy's on the second half of the week. I think that's how Riot would break it up.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's okay. I'd be certainly okay to test the format, but if you were to ask me my general thoughts, like, yeah, let's do the format right now, I'd be like, oh.
And I think Riot is not in the place where when they go to franchising, they want to test something.
Oh, no.
No, I think they look at the 2 formats they've tried so far, they say, best of ones was superior, we're going to go back to that, and we're going to hold there, and that's just what we're going to do. Because I mean, it was fine. I like the improvements. I
think the biggest thing is like when you go to LCS, a lot of people get bored now because like sometimes the games just drag really long. I think having best of ones also opens up the possibility that like take minor breaks in between like all the kind of stuff. Like I think and like it's honestly like the viewing experience for best of ones is super good.
Yeah, the viewing experience is undoubtedly the best. Upsets are crazy. No matchup goes on too long. It's good.
Yep.
I think that's gonna do it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Riot just don't PayPal me that money to like pimp out their new best of ones. Wow, only $100, dude. They're really cheap this year.
Jeez, that's all you're getting paid?
All right, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in to our question and answer segment. Tomorrow we'll have our power rankings for our last and final week of the regular season for Summer Split. Tune in. We'll also be covering all 4 games tomorrow as well.
Yep, and we'll be doing our final power rankings of the split. We will not be doing a playoff prediction show tomorrow. We might talk about them a little bit.
I think it will be more in line of doing it next week when next week
because the promo relegation
2 weeks away. Like I feel like people would just forget. I think it's better for us.
I'm gonna remember what I said.
Yeah, I feel like it's better for us to like just sit down and be like, okay, let's talk about these teams.
There's promo relegation matches next week. Oh wait, you're in Toronto.
Oh,
You're at Chris's wedding.
Oh, my manager's getting married next week. So I will be MIA because I have to be his groomsman, which I've never done before. I've never been to a wedding, so I don't know what to expect. I just heard it's an open bar, which I don't drink. So.
Are you the guy who brings the ring down? Are you the flower girl?
I hope not. Please do.
I would love to. You should be the flower girl. I
can't
imagine like a happier.
I'm literally gonna Google my responsibilities when I get closer to the date to be like, what do I have to do?
I think you just have to make sure he doesn't get cold feet or something, and then like you have to hook up with one of the bridesmaids.
Oh, that's necessary?
Yeah, I think that's like contractually required. Like during that like first rehearsal, you all like line up and just point each other out.
I see
you just try and like
you're really good at doing this.
You try and make eye contact. You're just like you.
I'll be sure to look out for that.
Yeah.
Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Tune in tomorrow right after the LCS to join us again.
Yep, we will see you guys. I will be fast also tomorrow because I skipped out on today's meeting, so you will not have to put up with as much Josh.
What?
Everyone hates Josh.
Goodbye.
See you guys. Is this the right one? That's not the right one. What is this one?
It's the last one.
Is it?
No.
Nope.
No.
Nope. There we go.
Just delete that.
How do I get the eyeball?
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, mute this thing too.